a game that less than 24 hours ago was just an active tournament with over hundreds and hundreds of players, more than it had literally ever gotten since release. And then everything went south fast. But to understand that, first we gotta go through the tournament iceberg, where I'm going to start you at the beginning. Tons of graphics in this. If you don't want any of these graphics, you want them removed, these are your graphics, make sure to tell me in DMs. But let's go ahead and get right into it. So if you go over to the tournament hall, you can just walk forward and you can see tournament canceled Woolwars. And you may be wondering, whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, wait, is this click to learn more? Well, you can go do that and it'll go show you all the things. I'm not here to drag this out for forever without actually you hearing what you want to hear. So over here, of course, everybody does this for tributes, but there is a top player standpoint. And this is a major, major thing for a lot of people. And they're always looking to see who can get the top player. And I'm going to be showing you a brief thing throughout the entire tournament who ended up on top. You know, you need it a lot. And you can, I don't know if you can see my points necessarily. No, you can't. But I was not doing super well. You needed well over 4,000 points to compete, and you mean, okay, well over 4,000? Yeah, that might get me a top 100 in most tournaments, right? Oh no, you'd be so far from true. So, to start off, we start things off at about 4,900 points. What do you mean, 4,900? Yeah. I mean, 4,900, where the max possible thing you could get in this tournament was 49.32. Or so we thought, at least, because this would soon change. But the people that actually were the first to achieve this was a little bit less than 5 hours after the tournament started. And this was a huge breakthrough. Everyone was super tight at the time. A lot of Woolwars mains had just finished on their first account. Yeah, many did alt, end up doing multiple accounts and all that. But many Woolwars mains had just finished their first round. You know, not really dodging, not really trying. And all the bugs were still, like, very, very well affected. So not many people even knew about the bugs. They were just playing. And Sadeyu ended up achieving with his team a score of 3,412 in first place. And this would soon be broken, where we are going to skip a little bit of time to where we start getting into the more modern things, where PAPIH and his team, consisting of Legitimate, AJ, and Baby Otter, they ended up claiming what would be a record that definitely seemed like it could stand quite a while at first place, with an over 1,400 point gap between the previous record that is known and his record. Of course, there were a couple minor, like, first place changes, but this was a huge jump. So they ended up achieving a score of 4,892. Solidifying themselves as the frontrunner in this tournament that really wouldn't be changed for the nearby time being. Or so we thought. And you're going to notice I said that a lot because this changes so often. Why is this changing so often? I don't know. Why are people good at this game? I don't know. Why did they cancel the tournament? I do know. So like and subscribe to see that. The first people to get 4,900 were actually the Relic crew, along with Bedwa. And I'm not going to really get too much into who these people are. They are avid Woolwars players. This is all you really need to know. This may not be the last time you hear of these people under different names. Just know that. After that, we make our way over to the tournament hall, which of course we were just in. But it's not for the reason that we're trying to look at the Woolwars tournament itself. We're actually over here to look at the list of people that were at the top of the Blitz Duos tournament. And you may notice that Guarma is a person I got first. Like, oh, okay, 4,932 is the theoretical max. It's fine. With this method, you've got to go from starter to grandmaster bracket, which loses you points. And you can earn a maximum of 50 points in 100 games. Theoretically, making the cap 5,000, but with the method, 49.32 because you lose points going up through brackets. But Woolwars had another idea. So this guy shows up on the leaderboard with the numbers 4960. And everybody's over here like, whoa, 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 how in the world? He must be glitch abusing. And yeah, they were kind of right, but at the same time, it was just as much as that guy's fault for actually doing it, and Hypixel's fault themselves. Who actually lost a game. So not only was this like this crazy thing where he had just passed like the next best people by 58 points, but he now stood alone on the leaderboard, and there was still room for improvement for whatever in the world he did. He had one loss. Everybody was scrambling to find out how in the world this guy just got in 4960. And soon, we would figure out that the first 100-0 team, which actually happened to be the owner of Rank Woolwars, they would show up later that day to pull off the first 100-0. Completely legit, all that. And it was crazy. Everybody was super hyped, and everybody was still wondering, how is that person 28 points above the team that just went 100-0? And with literally nothing better that they could have possibly done. Because you have to go from starters to Grandmaster. Or so we thought. Here comes on the Woolwars glitch. So, in this glitch, oh boy, you could actually, sometimes, you would randomly queue into games that aren't actually in your bracket. And this was actually due to some typos. Along with this, many other glitches occurred, which I might get into later, or make a whole separate video on, if you guys want. But in this time of desperation, a couple of teams rose, and many of these will be ones that you will see later. But the first one to actually do this was none other than Epic Archer and Apple's team, along with a couple of others, and they were to strike with a 4960 as well. And this was also another 100-0. They did their first starters game, and then they went straight to Masters, which allowed for them to gain a ton of points and only have to spend 2 games below Grandmaster instead of all the other ones. This was a huge breakthrough, and now people were looking to not only do the same, but beat them. It's the next day, and everybody's over here enjoying life, wondering who will be the next team to claim the 100-0 and get another 4960. And I don't think anybody could have predicted what ended up happening next. So remember how each one of these actually started in the starters bracket. And I actually had a thing where I did the exact same thing this team did by accident. Of course, I'll explain a little bit on how this worked, but they ended up getting not only 4960, not just 5 points, 10 points, 15, 20 points above, but they actually maxed it out. A perfect 5,000. Yeah. They went straight to Grandmaster the very first game. Now, am I 100% sure on how this happened? No. But actually, while this glitch was going on, early on, because I think they did eventually patch how this worked, and one of the main reasons why they actually canceled the tournament, which I can make a whole other video as well if you guys want it. But for me, I actually queued into a starters game with a friend, and what ended up happening was we ended up queuing into a couple of cheaters, which was very unlucky for it being a starters game. It should not have been as hard as it was, and we ended up losing. The thing for me was, afterwards, I left this party and I solo queued into a Masters game while I was in starters bracket. So, how this worked, I have no clue. I don't really remember. I did end up leaving, so I never actually figured out whether or not if I won, it would send me to Grandmaster. But I assume something similar to this happened, where they started in Grandmaster, and it allowed for them to keep going in Grandmaster. The unbelievable had just been achieved, and everybody was like, yeah, woohoo, it's all over now, yeah. Surely no other team, because all the good Woolwars teams, this was like all the good Woolwars players, they're done. It's just like, yeah, these random Bed Wars players, I mean, we can't physically lose to them, right? Right. Entering Hottie's team. A team where this was a player that really hadn't played much Woolwars in recent time, and a couple of other players such as Pezzy that had been on the team, and none of these players were really none of these players had been playing Woolwars super seriously. So nobody had really taken into account that these players were going to do something until randomly they started just going crazy. And they had just taken some screenshots of them. Not only were they at 5,000 points and had just claimed a top 10 spot in the leaderboard, but they had just claimed number 1. Yeah. So these players that are pretty much been retired Woolwars players, some have been coming back into the game more recently, had just tied these crazy Woolwars mains in this game, and everybody was just going crazy. There were so many screenshots of, if a Bedwars player can get 100-0, you can too. And all this stuff, because not only was there all this, yeah, there's cheaters, but you know what you can do? Dodge. And if you want to know how to dodge, well, actually, this is kind of crazy, but you are gonna have to get me 1K likes, so like and subscribe. But people were able to dodge cheaters, so most teams wouldn't, and if they knew it was a cheater and the cheater kept queuing, they could just dodge. They were able to dodge in a Woolwars tournament. What is this? So yeah, entering a couple more teams. The next day, Vaculate Beef, he starts streaming up his final 10 games, and he falls short to a cheater. So, another 99-1 team that couldn't capitalize on hitting the 5,000 mark. And there was just so much going on. Here's a nice little clip of the final 100 after the tournament was done. But nobody could have imagined what happened next. Because during this phase, multiple people had gotten banned. And usually they don't ban during tournaments, except for if a blatant cheater gets to the top 10 or something like that, goes above everybody else by a couple thousand points. And everybody's like, yeah, this guy's cheating, no fun. So they'll just ban him. But no. Number 1, which was Founder, got banned first. Now, this was a while before, even before the Bedwars guys got on. But this team, Founder had actually been banned on another account and had been playing on this account. So he ended up getting banned from the tournament. So everybody was going crazy, wondering if the team would then be taken off the leaderboard. And not too long later, which actually was a couple of hours, the hype had died down. And then someone randomly just posted in general, Silent just got banned. Now, of course, Silent is not a player that anybody would have suspected of cheating or anything like that. This is now just taking 2 members of that team off the leaderboards, and everybody was left to wonder, would they be taken off the leaderboard, and would there now only be one true 5,000 point team remaining? And of course, this was super close to the end of the tournament. Now, with all these players neck and neck, only 6 players tied for 5,000 because 2 were banned, and there were so many so close, wondering if they would reset all the points to 4932, because that would be the no glitchless thing if you went through all the brackets like you were supposed to, like David had in that team. Or would they just keep points remaining, and everybody would just, it would suck to suck if you lost, but they did what nobody thought they would ever do. They released a patch note, and this patch note consisted of canceling the Woolwars tournament and redoing it 2 weeks later. So now, all this, hours upon hours, this team, speaking of the amount of time some of these teams went to dodge games and get perfect 100 out of 100, was insane. There was literally a team that spent 10 minutes on their 99 out of 100 game. So for their last game to get 100 out of 100, they spent 10 minutes dodging straight. That doesn't even count how long they took to play the game. They spent 10 minutes in between those matches just to find the right queue. Imagine if they did that for 100 games. You know how long that would take? That's 6 games an hour, to put into perspective. You could actually just go over here. After this tournament was canceled, they were like, oh, I feel bad for all the players that just wasted hundreds of hours. But, those people that got number 1, oh, it sucks to be you, because actually, the whole entire thing was literally just, yeah, So I got the max amount of things I could physically get for this tournament just by playing 75 games. So I got the same amount of rewards as a player that spent 10 hours dodging queues to get number 1 because they didn't even get this. Of course, now I just got 100 tributes. I got a ton of wool, which I actually just bought like the best thing in Woolwars, and now everybody literally has the same amount of wool to buy the same thing I just bought. So we're gonna ignore that. But besides that, this is just the tip of the iceberg. But in order to figure out the rest of this, from glitches to how to dodge to the insides and outsides of these bands during this tournament, and how you can get on a 100 out of 100 roster for next tournament, like and subscribe. Because that is all for now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one.